Hi all, it's me, Erin, coming at you once again for a video blog. Today I want to talk about the ego. This is something I've written about before in my blog, but this is so crucial when it comes to actually diffusing fear, which all of us are trying to do. All of us are trying to figure out how to ease our mind. So I'm going to talk about quite a few things about the ego. I want to explain to you just what it is, how to recognize it. A lot of people don't even know that part. Or you may know it and you may not just know to call it the ego. You can call it anything you want, actually. He's still there. She's still there, whoever it is. And I want to talk about recognizing the ego. I want to talk about why you want to face life without the ego. I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to give you some key points of why you might be running into trouble if you're trying to solve problems from the ego mind. And I want to explain to you too, basically, why solving from the ego doesn't work, and give you some real aha points that you may not have realized before, as well as how to deal with the ego, maybe how to look at it a little bit lighter. A lot of people are very angry, and once they understand about the ego mind, they have this, ego mind, I hate it, you're so stupid, and I wish you weren't here, and I'm going to really I'm going to open the door to maybe loving your ego a little bit more and understanding its point and its intention and why it's there. It is part of you, and how you can learn to love it but manage it, because that's the key, right? So what is the ego? Basically, you start out as a ball of love. You start out as this beautiful, that's why I love babies so much. It's just so easy to love them because they're so free of all these beliefs that we have. So you start out as this ball of love, and as you go on, you actually gather beliefs, one after the other. Boom, boom, boom. Situations happen to you, good and bad, and you start to gather beliefs because you make up meaning about those situations. So something happens into your life, and you make up a meaning about it, and then you carry that belief with you. This is crucial. So if you start out as this ball of love, and then you have the beliefs come in after. Well, let's say something traumatic happens to you, or not even traumatic, something just like a piece of conflict happens to you, and you make up a meaning or a belief that is negative. A lot of times we call those limiting beliefs. That's what I work on with my coaching, is I'll teach you how to release the limiting beliefs, which is the key to everything. But basically, what your ego does is it stores, you want to think of it as, basically it stores data files in your head. So every time something negative happens and you make up a meaning about it, it goes chunk and stores the file. So next time something like that happens, it could be years and years down the line, because a lot of these files get stored. They say kids develop, their development period is usually by the time they're 5, they've learned everything they need to know. That's when all those big beliefs come in. You still gain them throughout your life, but you could have a belief that you made when you were 5 years old, 7 years old, or something like that, that doesn't come up for 20 years. And then all of a sudden something comes up and you feel that fear, right? That's how you know you're in ego. The situation happens and your ego goes back into the data files and finds the fear, finds what the ego remembers as, okay, last time this happened, it hurt, so we don't want to do this again. Okay, and that's what the ego does. When you really think about the ego, understand that it is well-intentioned. It wants to protect you. Absolutely 100%. It's the one that says, don't do that. Be careful. Ooh, I wouldn't trust that person. You should probably make sure you control this situation so they don't control you. Right? Any of those things that come up in your mind that feel yucky, and that's a technical term, yucky, is... That's your ego. That's your ego talking every single time. And it always springs from fear. That's something to keep in mind. So, and again, I'll say it again, it thinks it's protecting you. So it's going to go back very quickly and find those files, especially when you've given it a lot of power. And you give your ego power by focusing on it, by focusing on the fear, and by listening to that voice, right? You talk about the voice inside your head. We've all got hopefully not too many voices, but you've all got the chatter that goes on, the thoughts that happen over and over. Something happens and you look at it and you think about it, or you make a judgment, not necessarily even a bad one, but you have thoughts about what's going on. So that is how you have an ego mind, because if you didn't have an ego mind and what I like to call your inner self or your inner being, well, a good question to ask would be, and this is paraphrased from something Byron Katie says, but a good question would be asked, if you have all these thoughts and you wonder if you have an ego mind and an inner self, then who's the one listening to the thoughts? Yeah, think about that one for a minute. Okay, so there's the ego. And that's the key too. You want to really remember this when it comes to beliefs, and I talk about this in my coaching programs and different things and workshops that I do. But what you want to remember about beliefs is you can know something intellectually, but if your ego mind has held on to that fear somewhere back in those data files and you haven't resolved whatever's back there, you can't release it. Okay? This is key, because how many times have you, and that's why I say willpower is absolutely just worthless, because willpower only works for so long. Unless you change the belief with the willpower, you're not going to get very far. And that's what's happening here. A lot of people will, okay, I understand that I should not be scared of this. I absolutely get that I should not be scared of this. Yet some reason I still am scared. I can't stop fearing it. I can't stop fighting against it. Ego mind loves to fight. Ego mind loves to be right. Absolutely loves to be right. That's where I usually know I'm in ego, is when I want to be right. Yeah. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? So, again, and just to talk about that, how do you know when you're in the ego mind? A key thing to remember is it's really simple to know you're in the ego mind. And the way you know it is it feels bad. It feels like stress, control, fear, suffering, comparing. Comparing is a great one to know that you're in the ego mind. If you're looking over here and going, she's got great shoes. She's got better shoes than me. She dresses better than me. That means you're in the ego mind. And a cool little way to know, I heard this once, is to know you're in the ego mind. I think this was from Gabby Bernstein. And she said, again, I'm paraphrasing, but basically she said something to the effect of, the way you know you're in the ego mind is when you compare one way, like, right, the gal over there, she has great shoes, she dresses better than me, maybe she has more money than me. And then instantly, and I know we've all done this, instantly your brain will go, well, she doesn't have great genes. She doesn't really have, or she doesn't seem very nice. Maybe she's a mean person, right? And you instantly go to the opposite side. That's ego mind trying to find the file, right? It's like, oh, wait, that didn't work, because you might have felt guilty about that. And then, oh, wait, let's try this. And so there's another way you can know you're in ego mind. Key point here, absolute way to know you're in ego mind, and some people don't always believe me at first on this, but if you are trying to fix something, if you are digging in and trying to figure something out, you absolutely 100% are in ego mind. Anybody ever had that problem that you just dig and dig and dig, and you look at it and you research it and you feel it out, and you read a book and you read a blog and you ask people about it and you still can't seem to figure it out, right? That is definitely ego mind, okay? So, right there, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to do a part 2 of this, so these aren't too long for you. But there's a good basis on actually how to understand what the ego is, where it is, and what it looks like, how to recognize it in you. I'm going to come back and talk to you a little bit more, a little bit later about how to, well, one, why do we don't want to face life with ego? Also, how to deal with the ego. I guess deal is the right word, or basically manage. I like that word better. Manage your ego and really learn to love it, like I spoke about. And also how solving from the ego gets you nowhere. So I will see you soon, and that's it for now. Bye.